money you're spending and you losing unknowingly and unnecessarily because you just don't have the financial information, financial game. I'm from Brooklyn, and I remember those moments where I may not make it back home. I'm really seeing how poverty and wealth is being snatched from us. We don't understand what's going on. You're talking about your ability to not make a lot of money. Now you're working for slave labor. Now that time you could have invested into building your business or working on your skill set, you're now having to be in survival mode. Welcome to the Plug Talk Podcast, the podcast that gives you real game on the original OPM. And today's episode is about wealth transfers, hood edition, urban edition. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I come from Brooklyn, New York. My name is Mr. Brooklyn Business, but I'm also a financial advisor. So a lot of times, most financial advisors don't understand the path of being from the hood, being in an environment where it's designed for you to fail. Like you're supposed to be a statistic. So before I get into all high-level game about what exists on the spreadsheet, different products for your money, we got to actually beat our first enemy, which is our environment. And we have three buckets in the financial services industry, three buckets of money. So you have your lifestyle money, you have your accumulated money, and then you have your transferred money. Your lifestyle money is everything that we know of and we're familiar with, like, spending it on bottles, going to the club, having a nice car, renting an apartment, going on vacations. That's lifestyle money. Then you got accumulated money. Accumulated money is your savings, retirement accounts. We know nothing about that where I'm from. We don't have no savings. We don't want to prepare for the future. We don't want to have future cash flow. We don't want to have a retirement account. We don't have that. But what I want everybody to know before it's a bucket that nobody really talk about, and it affect us no matter what level you at, whether you in the hood or you make 6-7 figures, it don't matter. And that money is called transferred money, transferred wealth. And that money is money you don't see. It's called opportunity cost. Money you're spending and you losing unknowingly and unnecessarily because you just don't have the financial information, financial game. And before I get into everything that we can do when it comes to strategies, I really want to talk about the wealth transfer that happens in the local neighborhood, right? Because I'm from Brooklyn, and I remember those moments where I may not make it back home. I remember seeing the first obituary with a 12-year-old kid, and I'm not realizing that I'm just going through my everyday life, but I'm really seeing how poverty and wealth is being snatched from us right from under our nose because we don't understand what's going on. So as a financial advisor, along with being more mature, I see wealth transfers that happens in our community that I want to speak about today, right? So we're going to talk about 6 different wealth transfers. So the first wealth transfer that I want to talk about is going to jail. Going to jail. And I know most of us know that going to jail is a bad thing, but from a financial standpoint, literally, you're talking about lawyer fees, you're talking about your ability to not make a lot of money. Now you're working for slave labor. Now that time you could have invested into building your business or working on your skill set, you're now having to be in survival mode. And I really want us to understand that going to jail kills your wealth. Like if you have the opportunity to do things the right way and the slow way, as opposed to trying to get it the fast way. And then now you are sacrificing your future because of the decisions you're making now. That is a wealth transfer. Going to jail literally stops your ability to make high income. I'm talking to the people that really want to make sustainable wealth and build wealth. Like some people may, in the comments, may say something totally different, but the people that really are trying to make sure that the next generation don't make the same mistake that they did, they're going to attest to this. So going to jail early is literally a wealth transfer that we have to avoid and stop. We got to stop doing that. We got to stop going to jail and start doing things the right way because it's designed for us to fail. Like once you get into that system, it's designed for you to never make it out. And as a black and brown community, we got to realize that how much wealth is being transferred because we're not able to make a good living for ourselves. We're not able to save money or invest in our education, increasing our income. Why? Because we're in the prison system, like we're under bondage, and that is not a place where you need to be when it comes to creating abundance for yourself. So going to jail is one of the worst financial decisions we can make, and we got to really be aware of that. So number 2 is dying early. So a lot of people where I'm from pass away early because maybe you caught up in the wrong thing, or we're not prioritizing our health. But passing away early, if you're 21 years old, I remember one of my friends literally passed away, got killed at 18 years old and I'm 33 years old. Yesterday was my birthday and I'm 33 years old now. This individual didn't have the opportunity to do anything, to build wealth for himself, to really make anything out of his life. So dying early is one of the worst things we can do. We have to start moving smart. See, I'm not talking about finances from a spreadsheet or 1+2 type of standpoint yet. I'm talking about things that we can just become aware of and start to do things differently. And that will automatically allow us to generate wealth because we're not doing these things. So literally going to jail and dying prematurely is a wealth transfer in our community. Think about how much money that you'll be able to actually generate. The average American makes $1 million by the age of 40. But if you're dying early, if you're going to jail early, you're missing out on that millions of dollars that you could earn for yourself and for your family to build wealth. Number 3 is unplanned pregnancy, teenage pregnancies. I can't really explain this enough. I think we normalized and we got used to having children at a very young age. And I understand the beauty and the joy of having children. But unplanned pregnancy and teenage pregnancy kills our wealth. I looked it up. I looked up a stat. And one of the stats said that on average, to fully take care of one child to the age of 18 is going to cost between $250,000 to $300,000. $300,000 for one child. So now if you have multiple children, in order to actually invest into that child's future to be the best version they can be, you need $250,000 every child. And then we're wondering why we don't actually reach our full potential. We're wondering why we don't actually accumulate any type of wealth, because it takes an investment to actually create positive harvest as far as our children, our family. This is what it is. So I'm not here to offend nobody. This information is not designed to actually trigger anybody. I'm not here. I just want to give this information for somebody that actually going to take heed to it and start to apply it to their life and see how it changed your trajectory to build wealth for yourself and have an abundant lifestyle. Right. So number 4, toxic relationships. Toxic relationships, whether it's romantic or whether it's family, toxic relationships kills your wealth. Literally being around the wrong person, having the wrong partner that kills your dream. They even drain your pockets. I remember I did an estimate that I said on average, somebody like a male, probably 18 years old, might spend $10 on a lunch. But on average, do you know when you get into a relationship, it increases by 900%. Your cost of living increases by 900% when you're in a relationship. That's just the honest truth. And then also when you think about family, that's asking you for money, that don't want to pay you back or putting their burdens on you, their mistakes on you, that's literally a wealth killer. So these are all things that we got to actually do. We got to eliminate these things out of our life to start to build wealth. And once you eliminate the bad things, the good is going to take care of itself. You're going to start moving in the right direction automatically. Being around positive people that's going to uplift you and pour into you is priceless. It's worth millions of dollars. So having toxic relationships is literally one of the worst things we can do. We don't have emotional regulation and we get into these relationships and we starting to have toxic relationships and now we don't understand each other. We haven't even learned ourselves and now we want to be around somebody else who don't even know their self. And then that's how we end up with a bad result. And this is what it means. Like I've seen people get into relationships and build wealth. And then now that they actually, with the wrong person they married, now you got to go through divorce. You got to go through all the attorneys. Like that is literally a wealth transfer, which I want to get into in a different video. But these are all ways we lose wealth unknowingly and unnecessarily because we don't understand the actual financial impact. They want us to focus on the emotions behind it. Oh, getting married, it's a beautiful thing. But they don't tell you that the liability that's behind it financially, right? That contract that's binding between you and that person. If you want to void that contract, do you know how expensive it is to void that contract, right? And I'm not saying that don't get married or don't have a union, but these are all things that if I were to tell myself when I was 21 years old, when I was 18 years old, I would love to know this information because it would fast track. I would be where I'm at in half the time. So that's why it's very important to understand that. So the next thing I want to talk about is being emotional. Being emotional is literally a wealth killer, especially for men in the hood, in our neighborhood, because you can't get tricked out your spot because you feel triggered because somebody said the wrong thing to you. Because now all of a sudden, now you're willing to risk it all. Like, trust me, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I've been there where wherever it goes, whenever you want to take it. But think about what happens and the impact after that, all because of you having a disagreement, all because this person called you out your name. Having that lack of emotional intelligence can cost you everything, So that's really what it is. So I wanted to bring these wealth transfers to the financial advisory space because these are all things that actually cause us to lose wealth, right? So I want us to know that the three major buckets of money is our lifestyle money, our accumulated money, and our wealth transfers money that we are losing unknowingly and unnecessarily. And that's really what my game is predicated on. It's about the opportunity cost of us making decisions financially, doing the math on paper, but also the math that exists just in our everyday life that we don't really see. So I really wanted to just share that. I wanted to have that conversation with you guys. Let me know what you think in the chat, wealth transfers that you have experienced that don't necessarily exist on a spreadsheet, but you have experienced, whether it could be a divorce, whether it could be a bad relationship, whether it could be moving out your neighborhood was like one of the best decisions that you have done for your life and your family to have that peace of mind so you can start doing things the right way, and not following the wrong crowd. So once again, I'm Mr. Brooklyn Business, aka The Plug, and that's episode 2 about wealth transfers. So the next episode, we're going to get into actual wealth transfers when it comes to a real financial standpoint, going through the spreadsheet, going through numbers, and we're going to be talking about different wealth transfers that we don't know when it comes to our dollar and our bank account. Let's get it. See you next time.